Meeting characters at Disney is one of the highlights of most people's trips. But people have a lot of questions still about what to do and who can do it and how to do it. So here's some of your questions being answered. A while back, I did a video called The Do's and Don'ts of Meeting Disney Characters. And it covered a lot of basic information if you want to go meet Disney characters. If you haven't seen it yet, there's a link in the description below. Start there. That's going to cover a lot of your basics. If you're wanting to meet characters and you just don't know what to do or where to begin, that's the place to start. Even after that video, there were still some people who had questions and concerns. One question I got asked a lot: what about adults? Is it just a kids thing? Are only kids supposed to meet the characters? Is it weird for an adult to go meet them? What about a solo adult? It's normal. There are all kinds of people who come into Disney, and the characters are used to meeting anybody and everybody. I would go to the parks by myself on a regular basis, or meet up with coworkers or a couple adult friends, and of course we had to go meet the characters. There's nothing unusual about just adults meeting the characters. Don't feel intimidated. It's not a kids thing. It's everybody. I had the privilege of watching so many people be able to meet them. I had more than a couple times when you would see grandmas in their 70s and 80s get up to meet Mickey and they would start crying because it was something they dreamed of for years. It can be a special moment for anybody of any age, and the characters are not going to be shocked because some adult walks up. Honestly, for a lot of the characters, it can be a lot of fun because they can have a very different interaction, a different conversation with an adult than you can with a kid. And a lot of fun ones that you can't possibly have with kids. So if you're an adult and you're wanting to go meet characters, but you don't want to do a kiddie thing or be embarrassed, don't worry. It's okay. Go see the characters. Okay. Should you worry if you get over-emotional and overreact in your mind and start crying and weeping? It's okay. That actually makes for fun moments for the characters. They're not going to sit there and laugh at you and go, oh man, look at this idiot, or what a nerd, or they have problems. They don't think that at all. They see so many people who are so excited, that when they see somebody get really excited, it actually makes for a really neat moment for the character. They love it when they see people happy to meet them, and who know their story, and who are their favorites. It really makes it special for them. I mean, it is so special for them that they're not going back afterwards and saying, man, look at this weirdo. It's more of a conversation like, I just had the neatest experience talking to this person. They knew everything about me. They knew what I was doing. And it was just so much fun. We would love to sit with the characters sometimes when they were on their breaks and just talk about the really neat encounters we had with people who were so excited to see them. If you get up there and you get emotional and you start crying and weeping, it's okay. They're going to laugh a little bit, but they're not laughing at you. They're laughing with you and for joy because you are so happy. So don't be embarrassed about an emotional reaction with the character. Another one I get asked on a fairly regular basis is, what do the characters do if somebody is blind or deaf? Let's start off with being deaf. Some of the characters know sign language. Not all of them do. Some know it better than others. They may or may not be able to sign. There's no guarantees that way. However, most of them are very proficient with the language of gesture. In other words, they try to indicate what they're trying to tell you with their hands, kind of like I do all the time. Especially if it's a fur character, one of the ones who doesn't talk, they're very good at trying to communicate with their hands to show what they're trying to tell you. Don't worry if you can't hear. They're going to do their best to work with you and make it as fun as possible. Again, they're used to that. For the blind, I've been asked, do they let them feel them? The answer is sometimes, usually, but that's really up to the character themselves. Most of them aren't going to object. In fact, it's part of meeting them. The character themselves gets to decide, but just ask. Ask the character attendant, ask the character, and they will be more than happy to let you know what their feelings are and if it's okay with them or not. If you're afraid of the characters, what do you do if you're terrified? You want to meet them, but it's just kind of scary. And yes, there are adults that are scared of characters. That's okay. They're used to it. Part of their training to be able to be out there is dealing with people with anxieties, fears, and worries. If it's just a little step at a time, Take a little step at a time. If it makes you more comfortable to keep another person in between you and the character, then do that. Hand them your autograph book and watch from a distance. Enjoy the moment you can. They're not going to force themselves upon you. They're going to let you approach in the way that makes you most comfortable and do their best to make you comfortable as well. Bring a friend or two with you. That way they can kind of act as the intermediary, and then when you set up for the picture, if you're anxious, you can be on that side, your friends are in the middle, and then the character's on the side. You got some distance, you have a comfort zone, and it makes it easier. So don't worry about anxiety issues either. They're going to be happy to deal with you if you really want to meet the character. Now, if you're just scared of accidentally meeting a character, characters generally aren't out there wandering where you're going to get stuck meeting them if you don't want to. If you want to avoid the characters, it's easily done, and you can enjoy all of Disney without having to run into one. I've had plenty of times at Disney where I would go visit and I would never see a character once because I wasn't looking for them. If you want to meet them, they're easy to find. If you want to avoid them, they're easy to avoid as well. One of the most asked questions I get, though, is, can I use my camera? You know, being a PhotoPass photographer, I had a lot of people that were worried that we could only use our camera, or could they use theirs, or how does all of that work? The best way to answer all those kinds of questions is to kind of describe a typical interaction. Let's say you're in line to meet a character. When you get up to the character, every character is going to have a character attendant with them. This is a Disney employee who helps make sure the line runs well, that the interactions go smoothly. They're there to assist the character. There will always be at least one. There may or may not be a PhotoPass photographer, depending upon the character, the location, the time, and various other things. But there will always be an attendant. You can always use your camera to take pictures. Always. If there's a PhotoPass photographer, they're probably going to work with you to make sure that they don't get in your way, you don't get in theirs, and they're going to work around you to be able to get their photos as well. The idea for a PhotoPass photographer is to be taking pictures during the interaction, to get the candid shots, the autograph, the meeting, the playing, and things like that. So they're going to be moving around some during that time. My strongest encouragement for you is if you have your camera, ask the character attendant to take your camera and take the pictures. That way you can get in them. 10, 20 years down the road, you don't want to be looking through the family albums and going, oh, look at this picture of everybody but mom, and everybody but mom, and everybody but dad, and everybody but dad. Get in the pictures. Ask the character attendant, will you use my camera? They're going to say yes. They'll be happy to take your camera in almost all cases. If they can't, they'll find somebody who can. The PhotoPass photographer will be happy to use your camera as well. Now, if the PhotoPass photographer ends up with your camera, they're not going to be getting any candids because they're going to be using theirs. But they will be happy to get the pose picture at the end. At the end of the interaction, when everybody poses for a photo, the way it's supposed to work is they will point to one camera. In my case, I would always point to the guest camera first that the character attendant was holding, or the guest themselves or somebody, and say, okay, everybody look at that camera. And they would take one or two pictures of everybody. And then I would say, all right, everybody look at Mickey's camera, or the Disney camera, or my camera. And then I would take a couple pictures. During the rest of the interaction, it's kind of a free-for-all, trying to get some really nice pictures. But at the end, we wanted to make sure that we would get the best posed photos possible. For not just my camera, but the guest camera as well. So guest and mine, and we would shoot them separately so everybody would look. Now, as far as using a PhotoPass, there is no charge to use a PhotoPass. You don't have to use one, but it's not going to cost you any money to use one either. You can use them anytime you see a PhotoPass photographer. No charge. Now, if you're at Disney World, they've got magic bands now, which will keep track of them. Otherwise, you get a little PhotoPass card. Any PhotoPass photographer can give you a PhotoPass card and add your pictures onto it. They'll take the picture, scan it, no charge. Use your camera, no charge. You can look at the pictures at any of the Disney parks, no charge. You can see them online within 30 days from when you took them, no charge. You can even share them online with your friends, no charge. The only time you pay for pictures is if you want to keep them, because they are on there only for a limited time, and after the 30 days, there's no guarantee they will still be there. At that point, if you want the pictures, you've got to pay for them. Now, I know Disneyland has this new deal with a daily PhotoPass and a weekly PhotoPass. That's essentially the equivalent of Disney World CD. And what they do is they allow you to get a digital copy of every picture that was taken on that day or during that week, and you get to keep those. That's all it is. You don't have to have a daily PhotoPass paid to use the PhotoPass card. You can use them anytime you want, then just pick 1 or 2 pictures or pick none. The idea of PhotoPass is to provide the pictures you don't get and to allow you to be able to enjoy the interactions. So I hope that helps clarify that a little bit if it didn't muddy it too much. Use your camera, use the PhotoPass camera. Better yet, use them both, and then you're not going to miss anything. And you're going to make sure that you get the pictures you want. The most important thing, though, with characters is to have fun. That is the whole reason the characters are out there, is to help you have great memories. Don't hesitate to go meet them. If you've got any questions, if you have any concerns, ask the character attendant. That's what they're there for. Don't forget to take your PhotoPass card, hand it to the photographer beforehand, take it afterwards, but enjoy the moment. So I hope all of that answers some of your questions and concerns about meeting characters. Again, if you really want to know what to do, go check out that first video I mentioned, the do's and don'ts of meeting Disney characters. Enjoy it. They're there for you. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody who watches my videos. I do especially appreciate my patrons too, and I have been really bad in that I have not thanked my patrons this month. It's been a crazy month. But I do need to thank a lot of my new patrons, especially all the ones from May that I never addressed. I am so sorry it's taken so long. So thank you to all my patrons. In May, we added on Richard Meredith, Gretchen Meyer, Jack Decker, Joshua Witt, and Tamara Dillon. So thank you so much to all of my new patrons. I really appreciate it. If you want to know more about Patreon and supporting me, just click on the link right at the end of the video. It'll lead you right to my Patreon page. Thank you so much for all my supporters, all my viewers. I am so grateful and excited. I never imagined I would have 24,000 subscribers. So thank you to each one of you that have joined on. Thank you so much for watching this too. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little something. Don't forget to like and share it.